also have seen a lot of people say that, oh, isn't it convenient that Kevin Federline is coming out with a book deal now, that his child support payments are done and, you know, he's trying to make more money off of Britney or something like that. I get it. I mean, I understand that. I also think you could make the argument that the fact that he waited until his children were adults before he did this, so that, you know, they weren't having these stories told when they were, you know, children or underage or something. I mean, I think you could look at it that way. So I mean, I do think those two things to me kind of balance each other out. You know, the idea that, you know, he chose to not do this, you know, while he was getting child support money because he didn't want to mess up the child support money, and he's doing it now because he's not getting child support money. You know, you could argue that as exploitive, but I do think that, I do also respect the idea that he decided not to tell this story until after his children became legal adults. I think you could look at it that way. I also think that as much as people don't like to hear this, he has a right to tell his story. You know, Kevin Federline was a huge part of pop culture at one point. He was married to one of the biggest pop stars in the world. He was vilified. I mean, the way he has been vilified, and again, I'm not saying this man's a saint by any means. He has a lot of red flags. He has a lot of qualities about him that I would tell women to run from. But let's be real, in the age of like a Nick Cannon having like dozens of kids by dozens of different women, do we still look at Kevin Federline the same way? You know what I mean? Like, that just seems like a little bit like, we need to get a little perspective here. You know, he was also incredibly vilified and incredibly hated, and he was a fixture of pop culture. He does have a right to tell his story. You also have a right to ignore it. You have a right to not read it. You have a right to not support it, and that's fine. And look, I will say, I bought both books. I read both books to get a balanced perspective.